Oh, there we go. This is MD865, stupid freaking computer. Every time you glitch. Every time. And I should have... Now, anyone remembers my last video, because it was only a couple days ago, so I would hope most people do who actually watched it. I had a shirt that says got salt, and my god am I salty right now. No one even... I'm about as salty as... Wait for it. This entire jar of pretzels. Yes, that's right. That's right, I'm as salty as a jar of freaking pretzels. Here's why. Okay. Story time, kids! Story time! Story time! Everyone remember that show? Anyone who doesn't, you didn't have much of a childhood. But here's a secret. I don't remember it either. So, this is going to be a video, much like the last one, about my opinion about the DOA and DOD bans. Which I'll give a synopsis right now of what I think so people know in the later parts. I find DOD absurd that it got banned. DOS rather, little more understandable, but even then. I mentioned that briefly and touched on it last video, but didn't really get a chance to go into it full depth. But for right now, I'm going to tell a little salty story. Okay, so I'm playing some Pokemon. Show it everybody, okay? Playing some nice NU Beta, right? Okay, I mean, good. I have a Granbull left, and a... What the hell was the other thing? Hold on. A Granbull and a something. And a Furfro. Now, the Furfro was at 1% and was about as good as death fodder as any. And this man had an Audino and a freaking... What was the other thing? A Dusknoir. Now, mind you, that's a potent Walling Cord in you. Audino and Dusknoir is very, very irritating. And unlike Dusclops, Dusknoir can actually attack, and he's not total knockoff bait because he's not useless after his item gets knocked off. He actually has uses left. That's why Dusclops is in NU, for those wondering. Because with the BS that happened to, knockoff and how buffed it is and how much people like to use it on every damn thing and their mother. I've seen Excel Wars with it, for heaven's sake. I didn't even know the thing learned it. But that's entirely beside the point. So basically, what ends up happening is there's a lot of double switching going on at the end here to try and psych the other person out. Now, mind you, this guy's Audino, which I don't really agree with, nor do I understand why. I guess for the extra power, which bit me in the ass. He had, on his Audino, Heal Bell, Wish Protect, fairly standard. Now, normally the last move is something like Return, Knock Off, something to that effect. This man had Double Edge. Now, this comes in pivotal. I'm going to tell everybody why. Okay? My Granbull's play roughs do about 30-ish to like 38% to his Dusknoir every time. His Dusknoir was at 58% coming in again. And he has an Audino, like I said, and I have a Furfro. So at this point, I go into my Furfro, because his Dusknoir is still asleep, because my Vileplume put sleep earlier. Now, that's sort of the backdrop. Then, since I know when he wakes up, he's not going to burn me with... he's not going to attack me directly with his Dusknoir on my Furfro. Because, well, Fur Coat doesn't matter 3%. What does matter is I have Sucker Punch, and that's going to do a hefty chunk considering I'm Adamant Max Attack. Now, what ends up happening is, I'm correct, he wakes up after I use Snarl. Now, I have Snarl on this Furfro, and I should explain why. Because most people say, if they look at Furfro's stat spread, they're going to say, MDing, Furfro's special attack is shit. I know it's shit. The entire point of Snarl is, because it's an Assault Vest Furfro, it literally will sit there and eat up every hit imaginable. Between Fur Coat eating up weaker physical attacks aimed at it very easily that aren't super effective, even if they're like neutral and strong, he'll eat those attacks up. And the Assault Vest giving him amazing special bulk with his already good special bulk. So that's how that works. Furfro, see, people underestimate Furfro's potential. They only see physically defensive sets maybe as an option, but in all reality, Assault Vest on him is virtually perfect, minus the fact he lacks a way to heal himself directly, which is unfortunate. So that's why you need something with maybe Wish or just keep hazards off the field. You need to like have a way for him to, or a cleric too to keep him unburned and untoxic, because those are even paralysis is terrible. Because Furfrou, surprisingly, is one of the fastest things in all of NU at 102 base speed. That Excelgor is incredibly fast, as people know. Electrode's fast. Ninjask is incredibly, obscenely fast. There are a few Archeops. There's a lot of fast threats in NU. People don't realize it because maybe not if people play the tier. There's a lot of fast things that aren't scarfed. So, again, his Dusknoir burns my Furfrou. And it dies, of course, because the Furfrou's at 3% frickin'. It's not living. Okay, so I go to my Gramble. I hit a play rough. He wants to be cheeky and use Fire Punch. He's trying to burn me. Doesn't burn me. I do about 35%. He was at 58. So he's at 23. He knows he's got to switch the hell out of dodge, because not only was his Dusknoir intimidated because I had switched out to Furfrou, so his attacks were doing like jack all. His Fire Punch did about 18%. So he goes to Audino, who's at about 75% due to Regenerator. Then, since I know it can't do much, I'm like, okay, Double Edge won't do that much. And sure enough, it doesn't do that much, because Audino's attack's rather worthless. So it does, I can't remember the exact ballpark, but I'm like, okay, that had to be min, because Double Edge is still powerful. So I hit it with Play Rough. I think I got a crit. I do like about 45, no, I do 40% right off, I think, without a crit. So I'm like, okay, if I crit it, it's done. So I believe at this point, I believe he wishes try and pass it to the Dusknoir. He brings it in. I Play Rough. I bring it down to about... Oh, no, I miss. So he goes up again in health. Now, at some point during all of this, for some reason, he brings back in the Audino. Not entirely sure why. I Play Rough. It does a lot. It does like about 45% to it. And then I think he uses Wish trying to heal his Audino, maybe trying to stall me. I believe that's what happened. I Play Rough again. I damn sure I get close to max. He heals up. He tries to Double Edge me. Doesn't kill me. So at this point, I'm getting some of this wrong, because I'm rushing slightly. He has me down to about, I think it's 26%. And I know Dusknoir's Fire Punch before did about 18, maybe to like 21, something of that to that effect. So I'm like, alright, this is fine, because Shadow Sneak is still weaker than Fire Punch, even with Stab. Even if he Shadow Sneaks, that won't kill either. Unless he has Shadow Punch, he can't do anything, and I'm faster, because Dusknoir's slower than the dirt he's buried in. So, basically, at this point, I get rid of the Audino, because he misplays it. I forget what he does, but I get rid of it. I either get a max damage roll on Play Rough, or the thing's lower than I think right now, because I did get rid of it. He goes back to Dusknoir. I'm like, okay. I'm at about 20, I think 4%. I'm like, I can take a Fire Punch. I take it with 11. He burns me. RNG. Thank you very much. Slow round of applause for the battle that I would have had under my belt. Because that burn clinched it. Because he got that burn. Actually, no. Was I slightly lower? Wait, no, that's right. Because I was at 22 or 23%. The burn lowered me to 11. Or no, 20. The Fire Punch lowered me to about, I think it was 6 or 7. I'm like, okay, if I don't get burned, I win. I can Play Rough. He's at 17%. It did 22 before, maybe 23. No, the burn. The burn that seals the entire battle ends it. Because even with leftovers, I'm at 11%. I'm not enough to live burn. You need 13% or higher to live a burn. If his Audino had literally, and this is the truth, and this is why I'm salinating, if he had gotten min to mid damage on his Double Edge, he got max before I killed it, which was the problem. If he had not gotten max, I was set. Because I think I had intimidated too. He got blatant max damage. Because Audino, as people know, is weak as crap in the attack department. So that hurt a lot. Not as much as, say, someone getting swept by a Swords Dance, Mega Pinsir, or Mega Maul. I don't know you hurts, but you know what? It hurt. And that was just a salt-inducing moment like no other. Yet again, I cite the pretzels as my reference. So that was obnoxious. And I'm like, oh, GG. I'm like, wow. I did not know what to say to this man. I was just in awe and just. It's not like it's Lava Plume. So Lava Plume, I wouldn't complain. Fire Punch is 10%. And you're not Jirachi. Give me a break. But no, he went fair and square. I can't call the RNG unfair because it's part of the game. But really, it's kind of BS. So that sucked, and I lost that battle because of that. And I was on a real hot streak at that point. I'd won about 5 or 6 straight, and then just nope, end right there, boom, crash burn. Maybe even 7 or 8. I don't remember anymore. It was because this new team I've made has done very well for me so far. But unfortunately, one was a forfeit though, so I don't know if I'll count that one. But in the end, because Electivire is a troll. Now that was just salinating to the point of because again he lowered me from I think 19 or 20 to 5 or 6%. I got lefties. I literally had just little enough to where I wouldn't live the burn. And if Player Up did, from what I remember, between like 21-ish and like 25% to him before, 26, he was at 17. It still had a small chance to kill, and if it killed, well, it would have killed without the burn, obviously. But even with the burn, if I had enough HP left, but this is all theory mine anyway, if I had enough HP, and if I had either gotten a crit or gotten absolute max damage, I probably still got rid of him. But, oh well. What can you do? Hacks is hacks. It's annoying, but damn it. But yeah. Again, not the main point of this video, just a story for those who've, gotten hacked plenty of times at playing this game before and show you how it's trolly as hell. And so now I'm going to get a little into this. I may have to split this up a bit, but I want to go into DOD and DOS's bans. And this happened a few weeks ago, and I was not reminded until like about a week ago myself that it happened, because I didn't pay much attention to Smogon recently, etc. I just was not. I looked a couple times because I knew they'd changed they'd gotten up some of the movesets for 6th gen, etc. But I hadn't really bothered to pay too close attention. I know in the Aegis/Slash test going on now, which I've explained my thoughts to that. Check my last video. It's bullshit, in my opinion. That's the synopsis. For those who want to spark note it, because I know no one in college here. No one, I'm a college student. I know none of us use Spark Notes, do we? Anyway, my cheeky joking aside. DOD being banned is stupid. It had no, unlike Aegis/Slash, I won't beat around it as much, because DOD had no necessarily offensive prowess. The most commonly ran moves offensively I saw that weren't S-Toss on it were something like Superpower. I know a few people did this from like within the higher tier, like the higher ladders of OU on Showdown, maybe on PO, I don't know. I know the Gumi did this. I know a few people did this. They ran Superpower on it on a I can't remember if it was Mental Herb or Red Card set, but they ran it, and it makes sense because it one-shots Bisharp with the investment they had on it. It makes sense, and I believe after Rocks it one-shots T-Tar. I don't know. I'm a little bit against it, only because wow. DOD's attack is a little underwhelming as its special attack, but if it works for you, it works. So, I'm not going to... But other than really, Spike Stack to a degree, and with the power creep, with stuff like Bisharp getting buffed, Aegis/Slash's very existence, and other things such as that happen in OU now, even Greninja, who can just U-turn out of it and just like go to something else and get rid of it, or taunt it. It's just, because unless you're running Mental Herb, you can't cure the taunt, and you're going to be like basically useless. So in my mind, and again, this is in my mind, DOD was not and is not much of a threat. Even in Ubers, it's just overwhelmed too easily, I think, because you look at the power up there. Because again, obviously it ascends a little bit. RU has some powerful things, a little bit stally. UU can be quite stally, but has quite a few powerhouses. Haxorus, Mega Blastoise, Chandelure. It has a lot of powerhouses down there. Then you move up to you get Bisharp, you get Breloom, you get Choice Band Azumarill, you get Aegis/Slash. You have so many powerful things. You have Kyurem Black. Hell, you can run Banded Landorus Therian if you really wanted to. Landorus Eye with Life Orb and Sheer Force. That's the only set people freaking run anymore. Sometimes with Knockoff, just for variety. Wow, yeah, because Knockoff's not everywhere. Not everywhere, freaking anywhere. Specs Latios. There's so much power in this here. Banded Dragonite. It's just, and then you would send to Ubers where there's like Specs Water Spout Kyogre. And people know that is the most destructive move in the game if that thing's at full health. That thing is it is 10 mock trucks in one. It's disturbing. It's just crazy powerful. Like Ho-Oh in the Sun, Sacred Fire with like maybe Choice Band or Life Orb. I mean, there's a lot of strong hitters. Devastatingly strong. And that's where I think it lacks the ability to function, just as Aegis / would caught if he get banned. Because in Blade form, that thing is flimsy. Not saying Deoxys defense is far from flimsy. That's the farthest thing from the truth. But 160 or 50, whatever it has defenses, will only hold up so long against the onslaught of Ubers. It's even like Mega Mewtwo Shadow Ball would probably do over half to it, I would think. I didn't count that, but I'm thinking. Darkrai would be able to ruin it. I mean, if you came in on a Xerneas expecting to live a +2 Moonblast boosted by Fairy Aura, you're probably not gonna. I mean, it's just, there's too many. Yveltal's Life Orb Dark Pulse would like do absolute crap ton. There's not much it can easily take on. It can take on some of the things in Ubers. I won't say it can't, but it struggles because the hits are just like, they're just like boom, just like bad. But yeah, it's a lot of power in that tier, and I don't know. I don't see it personally functioning that well. I mean, I just don't. And what's funny is this video, I wanted to do something else, but I may include that, and I'll probably include that in the next part. Hopefully I get through both Deoxys forms in this video, because there's something I want to do in the next video, and it's called, which will have to be 2 parts most likely. It's called Underused in OU, but still very good. There's one Pokemon lately I found in particular who works incredibly well in OU, because no one sees it coming. Literally no one, especially a set I run on it. But yeah, back to Deoxys. I'll segue into that next part. Again, DOD is just, and it does get spikes, rocks, but all the Deoxys forms get that. Whatever. And again, its attack stats are kind of meh. I think like 75 or 80 apiece. It's not damage dealing. It's just not like any good wall you for a year. Hell, even a Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz can like come in, taunt you, praying doing it, and you'll deal negligible damage to it, and it'll just sit there and foul play and roof stall you until you switch. Like, it's just really stupid. Or if it has knockoff, you lose your lefties, mental, or whatever you have. If you haven't already lost it, or your red card, whatever you know. It's just really dumb. But, I mean, so for Deoxys D, my sort of final verdict, I guess I want to call it, would be, wasn't really ban-worthy in my mind, but, you know, people, I guess enough people voted for it, so okay, whatever makes you guys happy, but at the same time, the thing, I wouldn't be surprised if you're getting trucked, probably one's getting trucked in Ubers right now, so I'm making this. Because it's just not, I might play an Ubers game or a few games after this just to see, because it's just, see if it's used, because I don't even think it would be that used. Even, now, I won't say it's set up fine for Mega Kangaskhan, because T-Wave is not good for Mega Kangaskhan's well-being at all. But, I mean, you know, Power-Up Punch, and, you know, Sucker Punch, and all this nonsense, maybe Crunch, it's just, it doesn't like +2 crunches at all from anything. So, even Mega Gengar comes in, traps it, if it's a little weakened, Shadow Ball just flat-out kills it. I mean, I just can't see it being ban-worthy, but whatever. I mean, so, yeah, I don't know. So, it's just underwhelming. But as for Deoxys Speed, now Speed is a little more ban-worthy, because has anyone fought the Life Orb set? I'm sure a few people who may watch this have. Quite strong. Because of Psycho Boost, and because of the coverage moves in Bolt Beam, and then like maybe, I don't know, Low Kick, Superpower, some fighting move for Tyranitar. It's painful to deal with. It can be very painful with Hazard support. Even the Hazard Setter Deoxys S, because it's super fast, you're basically guaranteed 1 Hazard, if not 2, because you have relatively good bulk as well, because you are a Deoxys form. And you basically can, you know, live it 1 resisted or neutral hit fairly okay, set 2 layers of hazards, maybe deal a little bit of chip damage here and there, and then probably just faint. But it's something, and the main reason too I say it's ban-worthy. Now most people know how bulky Mega Venusaur is. Anyone who's played that fat stupid dinosaur knows how bulky it is. And again, fat stupid dinosaur is sheerly opinion, so anyone get pissed if they want. I don't personally like dealing with it. I don't mind using it. Dealing with it, I'd rather watch it fall off a cliff. But probably so fat it wouldn't even fall. It would just be able to, like, actually no, the cliff would crumble under it. What am I saying? Get it? Because that's thick fat. Yeah, it's a terrible joke. So yeah, basically speaking, Psycho Boost from Life Orb Deoxys followed by Ice Beam wrecked Mega Venusaur. Even with Special Defensive, wrecked it. Wrecked it to the ground. After Ross, I think that Psycho Boost might actually be a 1-hit KO, which is frightening. So, when it can OHKO one of the most, or close to OHKO one of the most powerful walls in OU, I can understand tanks, I should say. It has good special attacks, so I'll call it tank. So I can maybe say that's a little more ban-worthy. But I'm going to cut it here, and I will definitely make the next part, probably right now, because I want to kind of make sure this is, cohesively flowing. And I will see you all in a bit, and I will finish talking about Deoxys S and about probably some other stuff. So, yeah, I will see you guys next part, like I said.